Before we get into the unfolding of events that leads up to the Virgo eclipse, there's benefit in walking down memory lane. There's benefit in walking down memory lane. So walk with me. It's something we need to remember. I want you to think back to the time period of October 4th, 2023. October 4th, 2023. Up until June 26th, 2024. June 26th, 2024. And as it relates to Virgo themes, and you're thinking of this with awareness of your natal birth chart and which house that Virgo occupies for you, this is where Black Moon Lilith was traveling through Virgo. Black Moon Lilith was traveling through Virgo from October 4th, 2023 until June 26, 2024. Black Moon Lilith has you to fight, to preserve your sense of autonomy, dignity, respect, independence, value. Fighting to be respected and honored as a worthy being. Someone who's worthy of recognition and respect. And it's not so much about others in a cosmic sense. It's about seeing ourselves through the lens of dissatisfaction, because the voices within are reflected in the feedback we're getting. That in this area of my life, I'm not up to par. I'm not good enough. There's reason why I might be rejected. There's reason why I might be exiled. There's reason why I might get abandoned. And so Black Moon Lilith gives opposition, gives a pushback to that threat. There's something about the self that could cause the self to be rejected, that could cause the self to be exiled. There's something about the self that could cause the self to be abandoned. Rather it's you doing it or someone who you value outside of yourself doing it. And this is not to exclude an institution. Understand? So what was it about yourself that you felt great dissatisfaction about from the time period of October 4th, 2023 until June 26, 2024? What were you striving and fighting to find value in yourself for? What were you attempting to bring satisfaction to dissatisfaction concerning Virgo themes? Here's what we do know. Our approach to it is to become a workaholic in that sense, to meet up to par, to overexert ourselves, to arrive at mastery through constant repetition, perfectionism, homing in on the fine details, OCD about what we're seeing. If it's not perfect, we're still dissatisfied. This could be in how you see yourself physically. I got a little fat right here. I got a little stretch mark right here. I have a pimple right here. I don't like my hair. I don't like my feet. I don't like the way I dress. I don't like my voice. There's so many things to name about the self, especially when Virgo rules the first house in this context with Black Moon Lilith passing through. However, that placement of Virgo in your natal birth chart, if you don't understand it, you may want to get a reading with me so that you can understand it. This is key to knowing why the Virgo eclipse has to unfold the way that it does in your life specifically. It is tailor-made for you. And what was going on during that time period has a lot to do with what you're getting ready to experience as a result of that completion. You have come to completion with that lesson. With Black Moon Lilith passing through Virgo, you want to recall what was your status there October 4th, 2023, a few months in, and June 26, 24, or a few months before. What was the difference? What did you accomplish? What goals did you set for yourself? What intentions did you set for yourself? How did you start out that 9-month time period? 9 months it takes for Black Moon Lilith to pass through a sign. So this was a 9-month race to perfection, race to satisfaction, race to answer ourselves, race to produce what we didn't have to worry about anymore. What was it for you? What did it mean for you? Now, this is the context that ties to 22. 22. You need to understand that as well. The South Node Virgo carries a vibration of 9 because the 9 is working against the detriment of Venus that has been an ongoing theme in our life since the South Node Libra has faced closure. Okay, South Node Libra has faced closure, and now the number 9 is coming to separate us, part us, heal us, clean us up from the detriment of Venus, standing between us and our desires that were harmful to us. Those desires that were harmful to us, understand. On the other side of Virgo is also 22. Now, what do you mean by 22? 22 is a master number. It is a master number. Its base frequency is 4, which relates to Earth, the Earth trine. So this can incorporate either one of the Earth signs, Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn. However, it is Virgo that holds the foundational value of the 22. And that is because through Virgo, there is a perfectionist algorithm of consciousness that rules and dominates the person who carries 22 vibration. Oftentimes, a person with the life path or heart soul urge number 22, they will have a very strong and prominent life theme on the Virgo Pisces axis. Anybody out there who has life path 22 or heart soul urge number 22, I'm sure you can bear witness to that even as you are listening. The axis of Virgo and Pisces is prominent. Usually this takes an expression of the moon being north of Virgo at Pisces, okay? Most times when I look at a 22 chart, the moon is in Pisces, which is north of Virgo, okay? And what this does is it waters down that Virgo so that the Virgo can have more flexibility and less rigidity, okay? Less rigid nature, okay? So the crisis of 22 is that it becomes rigid. It becomes fixed. It becomes stubborn. It can become arrogant, narcissistic, dominant, controlling. very angry, impatient, judgmental, overly critical of self and overly critical of others as the situation with self is reflected outward. Having zero tolerance for the imperfections and shortcomings of other people. Not able to understand why others are not able to master so easily. The 22 doesn't understand that they have photographic memories. 9 out of 10 times the 22 is a left-handed person. A left-handed person. 9 out of 10 times the 22 is a left-handed person. The photographic memory. They don't understand at times that everybody doesn't have a photographic memory. Everybody is not able to see how it's done one time and get it right the first time. It's a trust. It's not just a gift, it's a trust. You're being trusted with that capability. You're being trusted with that faculty. And it's not to oppress other people. It's not to shame other people. It's not to be overbearing to other people. The 22 is a master because nobody can take a thought or an idea, okay, and manifest a physical representation of that idea sharper than the 22. The 22 is a master of that concept. They are masters of the physical reality, the physical realm, and material. Anything with material, they have a special connection with material. This could show up as a hairstylist who goes all over the world or all over the nation or all over the region at hair shows, you know, because she's mastered it. This would be a person in interior decorating, a person who's gifted with fixing cars, building houses. It's always going to be something physical, a martial artist, okay? But it's going to be something physical by which they have mastery. And the 22 also has a very strong disposition with Pallas Athena. And Pallas Athena, of course, incorporates Mars, Jupiter, and the moon into its means of finding strategies to objectives. Understand? So the point that I'm getting at is we were subject to the 22 vibration through Earth, 4, okay? 22 and 4 is the same, except 22 is the super exponent of 4, okay? When a person is a life path 22, or heart soul urge number 22, the 4 is the base of that person. But when that person gets in contact, gets in touch with the balance of their intuition, clairvoyance, and wisdom harmoniously, as well as the Pallas Athena, this person becomes a master of material representation of spiritual concepts. What do you mean by spiritual concepts? The master number 22 has to work off of Neptune. And that's where the 2 and the 2 comes from. Okay? One of the 2s represents Neptune, the other 2 represents the moon. Okay? These are the 2 and the 2. One represents Neptune and one represents the moon. Neptune is what casts ideals. It projects the image of ideals. So a person says, hey, I want to look like this at my event. I need a hairstyle. So she's just blabbering on, oh, I want it to look like this, but I don't want to feel like that. I want it like this, but I don't want a lot of that in it. I want these colors, but and they got magazines all over the place. She's trying to describe it. Okay, that's Neptune. When you're trying to give description, you're pulling off of Neptune. All right, imagination. The 22 is able to take the ideals that a person is describing from their Neptune and pair it with their moon. Okay, the 22 is pulling off of the Neptune of the other person, incorporating it into the Neptune of their self, while drawing experience from the moon within the being, and those two come together in order to make a concept. And when the concept is made, now they relate it to their masterful understanding through Pallas Athena of physical realities, spatial awareness, left-handed disposition, photographic memory, so on and so forth, strong logistics, logistical instincts, and they're able to manifest exactly what the person was trying to conceptualize. This could be the case with a person who wants to build a house, a person wants to build, fix a car or design, clothes or different things of that nature. The 22 has no problem with bringing a thought into physical reality. Okay? Now, we were loaned this impulse through Black Moon Lilith, okay? Black Moon Lilith put us in such a desperate crisis with ourselves concerning Virgo that it gave us a heightened connection, okay? A heightened connection through this panic, through this fear, through this through this sense of dissatisfaction. It gave us a hypersensitivity to our Neptune and Moon, okay? Our Neptune and Moon. And in tapping into our Neptune and our Moon, we solidified a concept from those images and intuitive wisdom. And then we went to work to try to bring it into existence and manifest exactly what we were conceptualizing as being the solution to the crisis that we were in as Black Moon Lilith started out into Virgo October 4th, 2023. And this is where we were living out the life path, heart, soul, urge number 22 vibration. Understand, okay? So at the core, we were 4, okay? And with us being at the core 4 for this 9-month period, our 3 earth placements is where the emphasis of our intentions and will was at. Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So call to mind what was going on in these areas. So already you can see that the point that I'm making is we overindulge. I won't even say over. We invested handsomely in earth algorithms out of necessity to bring ourselves out of a dissatisfactory status into a satisfactory status concerning Virgo, okay? Virgo is finishing school, okay? Virgo makes the Marine look sharp. Virgo makes the suit dress well. Virgo takes dirty gold and polishes it to a beautiful sparkling luster. Virgo is what makes Leo shine. Understand, okay? So your Virgo is what gets active to produce the shine and luster of your Leo and 5th house, okay? This is what needs to be understood. So when Virgo is strong, emphasized, well invested in, your Leo becomes immaculate because of that. Understand, it's the consciousness of Virgo that leads to the sharpness and luster of the gold called Leo, okay? Understand this. Now, having said that, Black Moon Lilith finished Leo, okay, which was from October 4th, go backwards 9 months. That's when Black Moon Lilith was in Leo. This was our first separation from celebrities, artists, rich people, famous people, okay? All of the stars of the heavens, the false lights, the false stars of heaven, okay? Any light that was not sunlight fell down from grace, fell down from heaven. This is when people started getting exposed, RICO cases, indictments, all types of scandals started coming out. Celebrities was dropping dead. All types of issues was going on to where we lost our taste for celebrities and celebrity culture, okay? That's when the universe shook us up and separated us from that spell. Believe it or not, there's plenty of people who are still in that drunken, sick state. There are still some people, even after that, okay? May God be with them. But anyway, After Black Moon Lilith went through Leo, we were had in the same crisis with Leo, okay? I want to shine. How do I shine? Why am I not shining? Why are they shining, but I'm not shining? Understand? But the crisis is that we had to shine from an authentic place. Not from Venus, but from the sun. Not from Libra, but from Leo. Not from the 7th house or the 2nd house, but from the 5th house. This is where authenticity began. And when Black Moon Lilith went into Virgo, that was the solution for Leo. Understand? As we got it together with Virgo, that's what gave the true shine and luster to Leo as solution. Understand? Okay? So this comes full circle. So let me make it make sense. What you were striving to at that time period for those 9 months, you obtained it. Okay? June 26, 2024 is when you obtain that status that you were striving for. Yes, you did. There's no question about it. Okay? It may not be to where you wanted it to be, but it most certainly was to a level where you could show gratitude for what you have accomplished. Understand? It was enough to celebrate, okay? The turnaround that you made during that time period, okay? Now, this lunar eclipse that we're having now, it closes the fixation with Earth. It closes the devotion to Earth. It closes our worship of Earth. It closes the 22 vibration so that the number 9 vibration can now take lead, okay? The 22 vibration, it laid the foundation for experience, wisdom, and mastery that now becomes natural, intuitive, instinctual process for us, okay? We learned something since October 4th, 2023. We learned a rhythm. We learned a rhythm that now is effortless to us, okay? We've mastered it at this point. Where am I getting these words master? Okay, first of all, Pluto is in Aquarius. Pluto was in Aquarius when Black Moon Lilith first started out in Virgo. And then it went retrograde. Please remember, okay? So the fact that Pluto was in Aquarius shows that we are in the context of mastery. That's a master's vibration. Pluto, Aquarius and Pluto is masters, okay? That's the masters. When it went back into Capricorn, okay, again, this is working for the master, submitting your will to masters, okay? That's different. When Pluto's in Aquarius, you are the master, understand, okay? So you obviously have to be able to sustain that status and that reputation by self-determination, okay? And that's what we were developing at that Virgo algorithm when Black Moon Lilith was going through Virgo, okay? So that gave us 22 vibration, where now if someone has the same problem that you had back in October 4th, okay? Listen, follow me. If someone comes to you with the same crisis that you had October 4th, 2023, you have perfect advice and instruction and wisdom to offer that person because of what you've been through since that time in order to bring resolution to your Virgo crisis, okay? You now know exactly how to solve that problem. You have mastery in it because you've been doing it repetitively. You've been doing it on a conscious and subconscious level. You've been doing it to a point where it's intuitive. Okay? It's intuitive. It's like muscle memory. That's the word I'm looking for. It's muscle memory at this point. Okay? So in the beginning, it required effort. Now it's muscle memory. So this eclipse has to break us out of that wheel that keeps turning. You see? So if something doesn't stop, this wheel from turning. It'll keep spinning because we got on it. We built that momentum and it's going, chasing the earth vibrations. 22, 22, 22, 22. I got to master it. I got to master it. I got to master it. I got to perfect it. I got to perfect it. Criticize it, criticize it, criticize it, criticize it. OCD, 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 OCD. No, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. I'm not there. And this is what we're vibrating as we're chasing the 22 vibration through Virgo, okay? The 22 vibration. We're locked and loaded to the concept that we have through Neptune, Aries, not Neptune, Aries, excuse me, through Neptune. And we're locked and loaded to the intuitive wisdom and experience that we have through Pallas Athena and the moon, okay? We're locked and loaded with that. But we have to learn how to release it. What's the 19th degree of Aries? Okay, 19th degree of Aries, releasing the grasping mind. 19 degree Aries, releasing the grasping mind. Okay, at that time that we were going through this, the North Node was passing over that degree, releasing the grasping mind. Okay, so releasing the grasping mind is part of how we get off of that wheel. This eclipse is going to manifest a realization, an intuitive download, as well as fated events that cause us to get off of that wheel. And when we get off the wheel, we now pull off of water. We need water. We've been fixated in earth, and now it's time to bring in the waters. But what had to happen with the waters first? Come on, pay attention. What had to happen with the waters first? The waters had to get prepared. Okay? It's just like taking a bath. You go out to jog and you're exerting yourself. That's the earth. That's the 22. And now you prepare your bath water, right? So are you going to get in the tub with a black ass ring around the tub? Come on, follow me. Are you going to take a bath in the tub with a dirty ass ring around the tub? Huh? You left a ring in the tub that you didn't clean up. It's time to take a bath. You just gonna run bath water with a dirty ass ring around the tub? That's how you get down? Word? Oh, word? Let me find out. Let me find out that's how you get down. So the same concept applies to our water houses or water signs. Come on. Cancer, okay? Salvation with self. Scorpio, salvation with others or through others. Pisces, salvation through society and the world and how we view the world. Okay? So all three of these points had to be purified. Pallas Athena was there in Scorpio, and it went 3 times through Scorpio, direct, retrograde, direct. The whole time Black Moon Lilith was going through Virgo. That's significant. Okay? Because what Pallas Athena was teaching us is how to rely on self. How to trust the self. How to decode and recode the amygdala. Listen to my words. How to recode and decode the amygdala. Pallas Athena was teaching us how to recode and decode the amygdala, the fight or flight. Pallas Athena was teaching us how to rely on self, how to accept hard truths, how to accept rejection, how to accept betrayal, how to process rejection and betrayal, how to face hard, difficult truths, disillusionment, developing resilience. Okay, that's preparing the water of relationships. Now do you see? Okay, the 8th house is the water of relationships. Scorpio holds the water of relationships. The drama between me and you that is inevitable. Listen, the drama between you and me that is inevitable. Okay, that's 8th house. Now, Mars was where for 7 months? You guessed it. Mars has been in Cancer, well, actually 6 months now. Mars has been in Cancer for 6 months, okay? That's significant too. It's preparing the water. Okay? It's preparing your bath water. It's pouring Ajax. See, y'all know nothing about that. You know what I mean? That Ajax, you know what I mean? Grandma taught you that. You heard? Put that Ajax up in there. Yeah. Sparkling clean. Y'all know nothing about that. Come on. So that's putting that Ajax in the bathtub for cancer. You know what I'm saying? That dirty ass tub. The dirty ass tub. Where you got generational curses, okay? Burdens and curses that you inherited from an unstable emotionality of single mothers in society. Okay? Single motherhood crisis that run throughout society for generations. What feminism did to us, what liberalism did to us, what single parenthood did to us, and how it fucked up kids' emotions. Yeah, I said it. And I know y'all don't like me saying it. Okay? That's why I don't get many views. That's why I got 100 subscribers, and all them niggas hide in the dark listen to me because they too scared to say something. Understand? Okay? I get it. That's cool. That's fine and dandy. But Mars came into Cancer to address those issues. Mars came to manifest, just as Jesus said, think not that I come to bring peace, but I come to bring a sword. I come to set daughter against mother. I come to set son against father. Okay? And all that was going on. Why? Because y'all better clean this shit up. You better clean this shit up. You better heal it. And that Mars in Cancer was a cry for pacification. It was a cry for attention. It was a cry for validation. It was a cry for a hug. Understand. Wherever you have Cancer in your natal birth chart, right there, we have been starved out for 6 months. And basically what that looks like, if I could paint the picture to you, okay? Picture a baby that's like really crying a lot, okay? You give them a bottle, you give them this, you give them that, and they still crying, okay? And come to find out, it's because you're picking the baby up too much. Yeah, that's a real thing. Okay? Sometimes you could coddle the baby too much. You could spoil the baby. Every time the baby move, you picking it up and you run into its rescue. The baby never learns how to regulate its own emotions, how to stabilize its own emotions. The baby never learns. Okay? So we had to go through the same thing. We had to learn how to stabilize our emotions, how to regulate our emotions. When we feel betrayed, when we feel isolated, when we feel neglected, when we feel left behind, when we feel like our rights are stepped on, when we feel like the moral obligation has been forgotten, when we feel like righteousness itself has not preserved our dignity, when we feel like we don't have advocacy for the self, there's nobody to speak up for me. There's nobody to speak up for you. I'm not getting feedback. I'm not getting attention. I'm not getting love. So what do? You act a donkey. You oppress people. You abuse people as a result. You go run into the hands of an enemy. You set yourself up for failure. You go get with somebody abusive who gonna throw you down the stairs and give you black eyes every Tuesday. You gonna go smoke crack? That shit ain't funny. You gonna go smoke crack? You gonna turn up the liquor bottle and get down to the bottom of it? Right? You gonna start sucking the fucking to find some peace and pacification? What do? Okay? So we started to learn things about us that gave us homework to know. How am I gonna clean this dirty ass ring out of this tub in Cancer? Okay, because you got to clean that shit up, because inner child was in crisis. Like inner child is like, yo, I'm tired of you ignoring me. I'm tired of you putting me in harm's way. I'm tired of you putting me in danger. I'm tired of you isolating me. I'm tired of you neglecting me and going off with this person and that person. You don't embrace me. You don't hug me. You don't love me. And that's the inner self that's saying that. The inner self. Okay, so we learn these things. We learn these things, and that prepares the water. Okay, now how was Pisces getting prepared since that time, right? Saturn. Okay, Saturn. Not only Saturn, but Neptune has been also purifying the last decan, the last 10 degrees of Pisces as well. Okay, so that's like bleach and comet in the tub. You know what I'm saying? Ajax, bleach, and comet up in there. You just scrubbing away. You know what I'm saying? It's really scrubbing. Saturn is like a scrub brush. You understand? A hard bristle that you put on that tub. You scrubbing it. You know what I'm saying? You hard scrubbing it. Putting elbow grease. Saturn put the elbow grease in that scrub. And this is Pisces, the subconscious, the generational curses that we inherited through the blood. Understand? Our fears that have been ruling and controlling us. Our lusts that we have been worshiping. Understand? Okay? And all of this was tying back into this toxicity has been pushing us into false identities through South Node Libra. That's when the Yas Girl crowd makes sense. That's when the Yas Girl crowd is glorified. That's when you look at them in a glorious light. That's when you see people like Jasmine Crockett as a hero. You're sick. You're toxic. Something wrong with your ass. You need to scrub that tub and get in holy water. You looking at Jasmine Crockett as a hero. You looking at these Fannie Willis as a hero. You looking at these Tiffany Henyards as a hero. You looking at these wild wildebeests as heroes. You looking at Kamala Harris as a hero. You looking at Barack Obama as a hero. You're lost. Cuckoo, you're lost. Anybody home? You're lost. And that's why. Because your opinions, your thoughts, your views, your beliefs, how you feel and how you think, it comes from the crowd. You wait to see what the comment section says before you say or before you form an opinion. You wait and see what the pretty person says or the most attractive person or the most wealthy person says or does before you identify with a position or a thought. Because you're fake, you're phony. God saved us from that. And he took all of it down. It don't even exist no more. It's dust now. He pounded it down to dust. Understand? So, let me get back on track. This eclipse closes that whole process that we went through Virgo. And basically what it's saying is it's bowing out from the 22 disposition of consciousness at Virgo. Okay? We're stepping out of the left-handed thinking, which is to only realize and measure the reality of the physical realm, of the laws of physics. Nothing is real except what is subject to the laws of physics. Nothing is true except for what we can measure and document. That's how the 22 thinks. The 22 has a very difficult time comprehending higher spiritual concepts until they have evolved through Saturn. And that is usually through humility or humiliation. Okay? The 22 has to go through many levels of humility and humiliation before that they can have access to the 22 power. Because the arrogance, the narcissism is a different level in the 22. Understand? It's a different level. A different level. Every time somebody does something imperfect, the 22, all you had to do was, well, why you ain't just, all you had to do was, well, why? Everything is chastisement. Everything is judgment. Everything is criticism. Everything is harshness, insensitivity, everything. They're damn near borderline abusive, but it's a trade-off. Because the 22 can change your life if you watch them, if you study them. If you have a humble heart and you ask questions, you learn from them. They will teach you how to get straight to mastery. They are the perfect teacher. Because here's the irony of the situation. You're not a student until you're humble. And the 22 has a personality that humbles you. They're quite narcissistic. They're very rigid. They're hardcore. They're tough. They're gritty. They're tough as nails. But they have to be that way. Because if they're not that way, your ego will get in your way as you learn from them. You see? The first step to learning, the first step to knowledge, the first step to being a student is humility. That's the first step. But what's going to put you in a spirit of humility? Humiliation, if you don't know how to do it yourself. If you don't know how to make yourself humble, humiliation will do it. And the 22 is good at humiliating that ass. Because every time they bring up a point that puts you in check, they will actually be right. They won't be wrong. They will actually be right. And there's nothing you can say about it, but get humble. The 22 comes with a medicine that makes people who come around them humble. They're very tough. They're very strong. They're very intimidating. They're clever. They're very strong in their logic. Their reasoning is impeccable. You will not get over on them. Understand? You won't argue. You will not win an argument with them. Mouth to mouth, going back and forth. Yeah, you might out argue them, but the truth that they expose you on, it'll break you apart. It'll make you look like a fool. Okay, so they have to come that way because they have to humble who's around them, so that who's around them can learn. Because a person cannot be a disciple except in the spirit of humility. A person cannot be a student except in the spirit of humility. Okay, so it's a natural process. This is where we now have the 22 at Virgo. You now have graduated to have the 22 at Virgo today. You got that already. We're learning not to be overbearing with it. We're learning not to be harsh with it. We're learning not to be aggressive with it. Okay, and that's why Venus and Mercury is in Aries, teaching us that. And this is after we healed from pain, Aries Chiron transit, that used to inflame and exaggerate the pain that we're dishing out. Okay, so there's layers of things that we've been learning. Okay, and that water is now purified so that we can have our salvation. Because remember, when you have salvation, you not only have the character of the 10th house, you have the notoriety of the MC, the midheaven. Secret weapon, the midheaven. Water gives you the midheaven. So we're learning to let go of the grasping mind through logic, and we now have to welcome in intuitive understanding, intuitive knowing, clairvoyant understanding, clairvoyant knowing. We have to step into the spiritual aspects and expressions of ourselves through Pisces. Frequencies of understanding, compassion, and love. Trusting the schedule and the timing of spirit. Leading with faith. Leading with understanding, forgiveness. Understand? So, I think that sums it up enough right there, that this eclipse it's an ending, but an ending is the first part of a beginning. Okay? The ending is the first part of beginning. Saturn is in the last decan of Pisces, the last 10 degrees of Pisces, and in direct motion, Saturn gives you a knowledge of what's fated to you at those degrees. In retrograde, it gives you wisdom of what was fated to you in those degrees. When it goes back direct motion again out of that retrograde, it gives you understanding of those degrees. Okay? So Saturn goes one decan at a time. Direct, retrograde, direct. So the first direct is knowledge. The retrograde arrives at wisdom. And the second direct motion opens understanding. It closes it with understanding. Okay? So right now, direct motion, we're in the spring, summer phase of Saturn, direct motion. Every fall and winter, Saturn goes retrograde. Okay? Always know this. So our active forward motion in new themes and experiences and fate through Father Time Saturn is giving us the knowing of that which we have to tailor our character to. Listen to me careful. When it goes retrograde in the fall through winter, it's given us wisdom through introspect of those experiences that we had from spring to summer. Wisdom. When it goes direct again, next spring, it will become an understanding. Okay? That's how it works. And I need you to understand that every time Saturn goes direct, retrograde, direct. Okay? This way we can align and work gracefully with the schedule of this universe. What's meant for you and me is that coming out of the 22, we're being asked to come out of a rigid nature with ourselves, a rigid nature with our lives, and to understand that we don't have the power to control every detail that arrives us at our destiny and that grants us fulfillment. We don't have that power. And that only points at the fact that the measure of our grace and our blessings in this life is so vast that we can't even, it's not even something that you can fully even embrace. It requires a tapping in to your spiritual frequencies, your spiritual aspects and bodies of yourself to be able to show up for it. That's how vast it is. As vast as the vastness of the oceans and the ocean's depths, which brings us back to Pisces signature. So we need to identify more with the health, the richness, the treasure, the good, the positivity, the life force of our emotionality. Emotions that feeds dreams, that feeds possibilities, that feeds love, truth, justice, that feeds unification, that feeds advocacy, creativity, because through that we become empowered to become the person who we were looking for in the first place. Understand? So we're getting prepared to bring in more water because that's the reception of the Christ impulse through Pisces. Okay? The reception of the Christ impulse through Pisces. That is when the law is written on the heart, not in the letter. And this doesn't mean that you go around following your lust and your desires, thinking that you're accomplishing something or doing something good, but you don't have Saturn in your life. Okay? Without Saturn, everything you do is futile. There has to be discipline, obedience, order, structure, or you're nothing but a poet, a perverse poet. And we got enough of that from what females did to spirituality. And I know y'all don't like me for saying it.